It's Gorman in the morning with Fletcher and Ryder. Now, 92 KQRS.
Gorman in the morning on Minnesota's 92 KQRS. It is Monday. It is June the 9th. Let's get right to it then. I'm feeling Minnesota, which is my way of saying, Paul, give me some headlines for crying out loud.
Minnesota's Frost star Kelly Panic, fresh off back-to-back PWHL titles, has teamed up with Fulton Brewing to release a new brew called Been There, Won That Again. It's a lemon-charged blonde ale. They actually dropped some off for us right here. Ryder, I think you should probably hammer this at some point. Yeah. It's a portion of the proceeds will support Mosaic Hockey Collective, which is a nonprofit that creates opportunities for players of color in Minnesota. So
Beautiful.
There you go. Yeah. Looks pretty tasty. A runaway pet zebra named Ed was captured in Tennessee after being on the loose for over a week. The zebra was found in a pasture near a subdivision and was airlifted back to safety by helicopter. Ed had escaped into a wooded area after being spotted running along an interstate. Ed the zebra had his viral moment. I mean, you can see footage all over the socials. So first a kangaroo, now a zebra. Mm-hmm. We might need to call in the National Guard.
Why a zebra? Why? This Tennessee, not an indigenous species.
Did it come from a zoo or did it escape from somebody's house?
An owner.
It was a privately owned zebra.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Ed was just chilling, and then he got loose. I was watching clips of that. Having been a longtime Tennessee resident, I still follow a lot of the news down there on socials, and he was all over the place. They would spot him running alongside the interstate, going through people's backyards. Just a runaway zebra for a week. Ridiculous.
Yeah. And sitting on a pasture, probably eating some grass.
No need.
Calling it good. No, you're absolutely right. Bruce Springsteen brought out a hometown legend at his show in Liverpool over the weekend. You know what? I don't need to set this up. Let's just check it out.
We're lucky tonight. We have a young man from Liverpool. I think he's got a lot of talent, and I believe he's going to be going places. So let's bring out Sir Paul McCartney. Just can't buy. 'Cause I don't care too much for money. Money can't buy me love.
Who would have thought Paul McCartney would go over good in Liverpool?
If you told Paul McCartney 61 years ago when he wrote "Can't Buy Me Love," you'll be playing this at the at Anfield Stadium with Bruce Springsteen in 61 years. He of course would have said, "Who's Bruce Springsteen?" But then he would have said 61 years. What are you, stupid? We're not gonna. This thing's gonna last like 2 years. We'll be done. No one lasts that long.
I think as a concert goer in Liverpool, that's the collab that you're hoping happens, but you think maybe it won't, and then it of course does. Had to be pretty phenomenal. That's how you do an encore, friends. That's
a pretty great night for the folks there watching.
Of course.
Just a couple of legends hanging out.
That's right. In a new poll, 16% of American adults say they've been to 30 or more states. Obviously, that's more common the older you get. But 5% of Gen Zers under 30 already have have at least 30 under their belt. That's impressive. Wow. 30 states under 30 years old.
Yeah.
There are a bunch of stats that go with this thing, but one jumped out at me, and I wanted to throw at you guys. 5% of adults say they have never been to another state other than the one they live in. Mm-hmm. Now, I mean, that was part of your job to hit states.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's odd, right? I mean, step outside your bubble, man.
I've seen things about like the number of Americans who live within 60 minutes of the town they were born. It's many. It's a huge percentage. Like over 30%, if I believe last time I saw that, like have just never lived outside a 1 hour radius of where they were born. That's still very, very common.
Wow. Well, here it's 5% though haven't been outside of their state. I think that's nuts.
If your state is Minnesota, I think I'm okay with this.
Oh, boy.
I mean, we're pretty freaking great.
Oh,
that's what they tell me.
I still want to explore, get some perspective, so I can see just how great we are.
It does help. It does help if you really want to appreciate where you're from, go somewhere else. That's a very good point.
1,000%.
The Minnesota Twins are 5 games above 500. That just seems to be where they've settled in after that tremendous 13-game winning streak, 35-30. Yesterday, after dropping 2 to the Blue Jays, they bounced back. As we all know, if they hit 2 home runs in a game, they're going to win the game. Mm-hmm. Opening up the 4th inning, Brooks Lee stepped in.
And Lee hammers one to right, down the line, deep in the corner. This one sending Lucas near the wall, and that is gone, a home run.
Just squeaked it over, so that was nice. But then back-to-back as Christian Vasquez came up very next batter.
3-2, and now Vasquez to left and deep. Back it goes in the corner, and that is gone.
Nice.
And the Twins go back-to-back and have the lead. It's 4-3 here at Target Field.
Vasquez.
Second time the Twins have gone back-to-back this season, and the first time they have done so at home, and that helmet had a short break.
Vasquez left no doubt. His ball went a mile and a half. So since that 13-game winning streak, they have a 9-10 record. When they hit the ball, they do well. It's really simple. Just swing the bats, fellas. 3-game series against the Rangers kicks off tomorrow at Target Field at 6:40. The Minnesota Lynx, let's see. Oh, that's right. They're 9-0 with another win yesterday over the Dallas Wings. Nafisa Collier, 28 points, 10 rebounds, 4 assists, 3 steals, 3 blocks, pretty much making a strong case for MVP of the league so far after 9 games. They beat the Dallas Wings yet again without Paige Beckers, who was in the concussion protocol for a few games, and then yesterday missed due to illness, unspecified illness on the back of that. If anybody happened to turn on the French Open yesterday, you saw an absolutely incredible men's final. Carlos Alcaraz beat Jannik Sinner. Let's see, 5 hours and 29 minutes, the longest ever French Open final. Sinner won 193 points, Alcaraz 192 points, but Alcaraz with the set victor. Incredible.
What?
I was sitting at home doing nothing. I love tennis, especially, I don't watch every single match, but when we get to the final,
Sure.
I'm like, I saw it this morning, I'm like, how did I miss this? Like, because it gets so dramatic. It's one-on-one, it's like, what?
How do you miss a major final? Come on.
You know what? It was an insane weekend, and I was looking forward to doing nothing yesterday, and I could have been doing this.
It was
epic. It sounds epic.
Let's see, really quickly. NBA and NHL finals, both a series at 1 game apiece. OKC ran the Pacers out of the gym last night. Edmonton and Florida are 1-1. Game 3, I believe, is tonight. If you're gonna watch, schedule extra time because they don't get it done in 3 periods.
Nope.
Oak Grove, glad to have you with us this morning. Oak Grove.
Oak Grove.
Come on, Oak Grove.
Lake George.
Gorman in the morning. Coming right back. 92 KQRS. Streaming from 92KQRS.com. Gorman in the morning is back. 92 KQRS.
Gorman in the morning, Minnesota's 92 KQRS. Monroe, Michigan, the latest spot where someone has claimed to see Bigfoot. A gentleman and his son were out bow hunting last month. They took a good solid look at a bear-sized gorilla thing.
Is Monroe in the UP or is it someplace else?
That's a hell of a great question. I didn't even think to look it up because I don't believe anybody saw Bigfoot. That's just me. I'm a skeptic. What can I tell you? A gentleman and his son out in the woods, and they said they saw it for a solid 10 seconds, and it was so shocking, neither one of them thought to grab their phone and get proof.
Right.
Okay,
it's not in the UP. It is smack dab between Detroit and Toledo.
Oh, wait, I know exactly where that is. I've driven right. I've done that drive a million times. Duh.
Yeah, that's super south. Super south.
Yeah, right there. Wow, right there near Ohio.
Yeah, this is blowing my mind.
Well,
How does, Michigan, are they so bored with all of their free or their legal recreational weed and stuff like that? Now they have to come up with these insane promos just to get people in dispensaries.
I think that's exactly what it is. So a dispensary is saying, like, hey, listen, all we need is a verified photograph, and you just load up, man. We're going to give you a free pre-roll, in fact.
I like it. I like a free pre-roll. I'll get in a bear costume and stand out in the woods for a free pre-roll.
Sure you will, and I imagine you'll have to get in line.
It makes sense proximity-wise. Monroe is right next to a state park.
Yeah.
A national park and a giant lake. If I was a Bigfoot, that's where I'd live.
Sure.
People are excited in Monroe, Michigan. They're finally back on the map.
It's going to happen. It's going to happen. We're going to get it. We're going to get a Bigfoot out of this.
Yeah, we'll see.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see. But by the way, and they actually are back on the map because there have been stories of the Monroe Monster dating back to the 1960s. A lot of people in that area suggesting. Again, it took no one had seen a wolverine in the continental United States since the 1800s. And then 10 years ago, some Nat Geo guys, or 15 years ago, they were like out in Idaho or Montana, and they just put up some trail cams, and all of a sudden, boom, there was wolverines, like right away.
Okay.
They're just really good at hiding from people. And they were like, wow, these were only in Canada for so long. And then as soon as they decided, let's see if we can really find some, they did. And they were like, oh, they do a really good job. I'm here to tell you, if I would be thrilled if a Bigfoot showed up, if there really was one. But I mean, all I know is every time a comet enters the atmosphere for 1.5 seconds, somebody gets it on their cell phone.
Okay.
It doesn't take much to get video footage of anything happening in the world. I'm excited. I'm excited to think that there may be a Bigfoot out there, but I've long since acknowledged that there's probably not a Bigfoot out there.
I feel like we need some trail cans and some drugs, and we're good to go.
Yeah.
Usually the solution to a lot of problems, trail cams and drugs.
I mean, just, you know what? Mushrooms, man. That's all you need. Just mushrooms and Bigfoot will appear. It's guaranteed.
It is June 9th. That means it's maybe not officially, but around here anyway, it's summer. Let's just call it what it is.
Okay.
Let's get a little Monday mixtape going. How about songs that kick off the summer? What song to you means, oh yeah, summer is here? 651-989-ROCK. Hit us up. We're putting together a little Monday morning mixtape, summer kickoff songs. Is there a song you hear year in and year out? Is there a certain song you don't even have to hear it? If I say summer songs, bang, does something come to mind? Or
For me?
do a few come to mind? Yes. Fletcher.
I really, when it gets warm and sunny, it's Beastie Boys for me, pretty much.
Oh, really?
I go into, Intergalactic, to check it out. I don't know, the beats, they're happy. It sounds all positive.
Right.
It feels like summer to me.
Does the job. I go very specifically, like I go right back to specific summer jobs. What was on the radio nonstop? It's like those get hammered into your head,
Fair
as
enough.
you get older.
Yeah.
Okay.
But for summer kickoff songs, we want to hear what it is that jumps out to you. 651-989-ROCK. Hit us up on the text line. No shortage of people already doing so. The first one I saw is simply Summertime by Sublime. Okay, that checks out.
Yep.
Sure.
That certainly checks out. Now, I don't know if that was released in the summer. I don't know if that was really
Good question.
For all I know, that bad boy was getting some winter radio play. But for me, and if I want to go all the way back to the beginning, I'll just say, and we've had a few Alice Cooper Schools Outs. Clearly, that's a summer. As the ultimate summer song of all time, to a certain point.
Yeah. First full week without school for a lot of Minnesotans. Come on.
Summertime by Sublime is actually doing time. Just a brain fart on my end. November 25th, 1997 is when it was released.
Something told me that. I was just worried about it.
Yeah, right?
Whatever.
Yeah.
It still works.
Doesn't matter,
Totally works. 651-989-ROCK. Kicking off your summertime songs. What song says to you, it is summer? Let us have it. Hummus Bob texted in 651-989-ROCK. One that I was going to also suggest, Billy Squier, The Stroke. Summer of 82. That bad boy, 81. That song was everywhere. And in fact, it was my high school soccer team's unofficial theme song. and we would get in the pregame huddle right before, and we would all start singing The Stroke, and that raised some eyebrows. Let me tell you, it's just one of those things, man. We just couldn't get enough of it.
If I may do my Adam Sandler, it also makes me think of Billy Madison. Madison.
I'll take your word for it.
He would roll up to school in his hot rod with the windows down playing that song.
Well,
in the
that's
movie.
where it started from for us, because one of the guys on my team for summer, August, preschool soccer practices, he came roaring up the school driveway in a giant pickup truck every day, blasting this, and we would hear him coming. He was always the last guy there.
Of course.
And it just one thing leads to another, and there you have it. We have a text in that says "Sitting on the Dock of the Bay," so we still got a couple of older listeners with us.
Talking. I like that.
Beautiful song. If you're remembering it,
Otis works no matter how old you are.
that's a very good point. But if I'm just imagining and remembering that in let's say the summer of '68, I guess it came out late '67, early '68. A lot of schools out for the summer. Jill texted in Baker Street. Immediately brings me back to working the Dairy Queen during the summer. Yeah, on the radio every hour on the hour. Those songs. I have a summer of 82 sitting in a restaurant, family restaurant, being paid no money to be there 12 hours a day. And John, at that time, Cougars Hurt So Good. Man, that song, you couldn't get away from it. It was everywhere and on that damn radio. I mean, it felt like it was played every hour on the hour.
For me, another one, too, was Fleetwood Mac always came across the radio, especially on road trips in the summer with mom and dad. Dad would have Don't Stop would be one in particular that would jump out to me.
Michelle texted in summer song, The Hooters, and we danced. Anybody remember the Hooters? They had a few hits. I think they're from Philly in the 80s. And I remember thinking like, a couple of those songs are kind of cool. And then I read an interview in Rolling Stone with them, and they talked about the fact that they all chose a color. The one guy only wore yellow on stage. One guy only wore purple. And I was like, I can never listen to this band.
Like the Teletubbies?
Exactly, like the Teletubbies. They were color-coded. I saw the Hooters open for Squeeze. And was like, they're still wearing all their colors. I can't get into it. And they did the thing where they had the drummer right up to the side of the band, like across the stage, like he was all the way to the far left. And as a drummer, I was like, dude, get in the back. Come on. No one wants to see you up front.
I figured you'd appreciate that.
No, that's just, come on. Make it happen. Love and touch and squeeze it. Oh, moving in stereo from the Cars. That's a text that just came in.
Oh, that's a good one.
Anything off that first Cars record. For faux show.
How about Paradise City, Guns N' Roses? That actually just hit me now. Drag racing in the early 90s.
Summer of '88 when that thing took over MTV. That was absolutely the song of the rock song of the summer of '88 for sure.
I wasn't drag racing though until early 90s.
Right.
And then that's when we used it. But
it was still working.
100% it was still working 3 years later. Yeah.
Yeah, that was because that Appetite came out in '87 and it didn't explode like the Nirvana record did. It wasn't one of those overnight things.
Took a minute.
But man, when that video hit and they're at Giant Stadium opening for Aerosmith, and you're just like, oh my God, it's like, oh, they're going to be the biggest band ever.
Look, goosebumps everywhere just from you saying it.
It's fantastic.
You have to hear it, yeah.
651-989-ROCK. We're going to be kicking this sucker off all day. Hit us with your text. What is your official summer kickoff song?
It's Gorman in the Morning with Fletcher and Ryder, 92 KQRS.
Migraine headaches. Never had one. Hope to never had one. Ryder, any experience with a migraine?
No, I've watched people have them, and they look just terrible.
They certainly seem.
Yeah.
Paul, Fletcher, any migraine experience?
I haven't had a ton, but I have had
really?
I have had a handful in my time, and when I get them, they are debilitating.
Yeah, that's the word on the street.
The worst one I ever had was I was working in Omaha, and I got up, tried to get moving. Like I went downstairs to get some fresh laundry. I was on a multi-level house, and so I come up and it hit me like maybe 45 minutes in. I'm like, okay, I'm done with this. I called my boss. This is how I called in sick. I can't make it in today, and hung up. That was it. And I laid down in a love sack and just laid there for probably 8 hours.
I'm going to blame your laundry detergent. I think it's all about the laundry.
You know what? It could be that's the thing. It could be triggered by anything. It was 8 hours of I needed just darkness. But then the crazy thing is, when it went away, it was just boom.
So the darkness, but also obviously pain, like headache pain, but beyond the normal
throbbing,
headache.
and cold. I just laid on the floor. I couldn't even get into my bed. Seriously, it took every ounce of strength I had to go up 2 flights of stairs. I was like, I can't even get in the bed. I pulled the blanket down on top of me on the floor and just laid there all day.
I can remember a few times in just as a sports fan, basketball, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and Scottie Pippen both missed playoff games because of migraines. And
really?
They got so much grief.
Yeah.
People were like, suck it up, dude. And then everything you read about migraines, it's like the idea of imagining running up and down the court with a migraine.
I know, under the bright lights and everything.
Yeah, with the noise. It does seem to be pretty impossible. However, there's a new claim on the internet, and a lot of people, apparently a lot of people who have migraines love to get on the internet and confirm rumors. They're saying here's a pretty good hack. If anybody out there has any migraine tips, hacks, please let us know. 651-989-ROCK. Let us know your experience and what helped you. But this is one that people are swearing by it. It's the old McDonald's hack. Nice and simple.
I'm a double-boarded neurologist and epileptologist. I also am a chronic migraine sufferer. A large Coke and a large order of fries, and this somehow miraculously makes your migraine go away. This can be easily explained. So first of all, a large Coke from McDonald's has about 80 milligrams of caffeine in it. That right there is probably enough to stop your migraine in its tracks. Also, McDonald's is well known to have some of the saltiest fries around. Salt, electrolytes, easy. And then of course, fries are carbs. A lot of people have migraines that are provoked by hunger or just their glucose starting to drop. So those carbs are certainly going to help out in that department.
And she does go on to say there's probably healthier ways that you can do this.
Right.
But I mean, if I'm watching you have a migraine, I can pretty easily get you a large Coke and fries from McDonald's.
Yeah, as I said, 13,557 locations just in the United States alone.
I've actually used this before for one of my miigraines.
Okay, what happened?
almost, honest to God, I don't remember the exact timing, but I would say for sure less than 2 minutes, and it was pretty much gone.
Oh, come on.
I'm
Really?
dead serious. Now,
2 minutes?
maybe it was 5, but it was almost instantaneous. Like she said, it would stop it in its tracks. It did. It was, and obviously delicious as well. That one bad one I described to you, I couldn't leave the floor. But one that I had that wasn't as bad, I was able to drive myself to McDonald's, and boom, within 5 minutes, I would say it was gone.
Well, I don't have migraines, but I do on occasion have hangovers. And McDonald's has always been a great greasy hangover cure, but it doesn't fix anything. It just gets me back to sleep somehow. It's more like
this fixed it, man. I'm telling you, it worked. It I can't say that I was like suddenly 100%. But I could manage it.
But how is this not on billboards? Migraine? Go to McDonald's. McDonald's is missing a hellacious marketing plan here.
I guess pretty well known in the migraine community. Like they're all like, yeah, idiots. We've been doing this for a long time.
Yeah.
But,
So what if all I got's a Wendy's, I'm out of luck? I mean, it has to be the McDonald's Coke and the large fries from McDonald's, I guess.
You could probably look up the milligrams of sugar that are in Wendy's Coke and just ask them to add a bit more salt, I suppose.
Jim texted in a migraine hack: make yourself vomit. That is, if you don't already have vomiting along with your migraines. That's not my hangover. That's not my hangover hack, but that's my prevent the hangover hack.
Fair enough.
Been a long time, but back in the day, back when I was what you would call a professional drinker, last thing before bed, go ahead and hurl. And then much, much better sleep and much less of a hangover.
Nausea will a lot of times come with that migraine for sure. So Jim's onto something. But I cannot, I'm one of those people that, I don't know, can you guys do that? I cannot force myself to throw up. I could
throw up right here. Wouldn't
Please don't.
If this was Facebook Live and there were money on the table, I don't have to put a finger to my throat or anything. I'm not saying it's cool. I'm just saying it's not that hard.
Wow.
Yeah.
No thanks. I'm good without seeing that today.
They that's a little something they called a child of anxiety. One of those weird side effects.
Oh wow.
Okay.
Yeah, these things happen.
They do.
I have a child who's anything but anxious, and I do all I can. Marley was just in town for a week and a half. She was great. She comes in. She's getting ready to take a big trip, so we had to shop and get some supplies. We did all we could. And I always think, I'm a pretty good dad, but I got nothing on the dad from Georgia who gave his daughter a gift just recently. Turned out to be worth about $2 million.
92 KQRS.
All right, let's get right to it. Last time you bought a lottery ticket, Ryder, when was it?
It must have been when it was near $1 billion,
right.
And we usually drop $20 and get 10.
Yeah.
Quick picks. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Sure.
And walk away without my $20 anymore.
That's how that works.
Yeah.
Fletcher, ever buy tickets?
God, yeah, I think probably around the same time she did, which it actually makes me laugh how people rush to as if 250 million wouldn't do it. It's like, it's almost at $1 billion. I better buy. It's silly.
I bought one Mega Millions ticket recently since they raised it to $5 a play.
Crazy.
I just did one just to do it.
Insane.
And it's so silly because if you get a Powerball with the Power Play, that's $3. And that doesn't seem extreme, but a $5 for one play, I'm like, no chance. No way. No, I'll burn $3, but I'm not going to burn $5 for whatever reason. But I will on occasion buy them. And then on another occasion, I'll buy a few of them and I just give them to the kids. Give them to here.
Okay.
Love you. Here you go. Don't forget where you got it.
Okay.
I'm not alone in that because a gentleman from Norcross, Georgia, that is not too far outside of Atlanta. He was in East Boston, Massachusetts recently, and he bought himself a Massachusetts State Lottery scratch-off ticket. And he handed it, when he got back to Georgia, to his daughter. Okay. She scratched it off, and it was worth $2 million. It was a winning ticket. Bang,
wow.
$2 million.
Not messing around.
Pretty good. That's a good present from Dad.
Hey, I just got this for you. Here you go, babe. Thanks, Dad. And then I don't know if he was standing right there when she scratched it off, but it's a $2 million win. She said the woman who is, she's a young adult herself. She's not like a kid. She's going to pay for her college. She's going to pay off her college and buy a house with that money, which is great. That's fantastic.
Super smart.
Is that going to clean her out, or is she going to have extra?
Not sure. Didn't get the full details. But what a lot of people are saying is, well, how much are you going to give your dad? To which I say, well, was it a gift or was it a contract? You don't owe that guy nothing. Give him his $2 back.
Yeah. You know what?
No, you can, of course. give him plenty of it, but there's no obligation.
None.
I have handed people lottery tickets, and I don't think in reality if they win, if you're giving it as a gift, it's a gift.
Especially a father to a daughter.
Yeah.
Like, you know what? Like, that's who I want to give all my money to anyway, as it is. So, you know, she probably cleared what, 1.2 million.
Whether I want to or not, that's where all my money goes. I got 2 kids.
There's no kickback obligation on her part. Not like when you win the 50-50 at whatever hockey game and stuff like that, and you kick a little extra back to the charity. There's no obligation on her part to do that for Dad.
I think there's a little something, sure. But that you never know. Maybe he got that for her as a way of saying, I'm sorry I've been the worst dad ever. Maybe this will make up for it. You know, you never know what's going on behind the scenes.
She can't throw back 10%.
I just think it's a funny thing that everybody's immediately like, she because in Georgia, or I guess in Massachusetts, you cannot claim a prize anonymously. Which I believe you can in Minnesota, one of the few states where if you win, they don't release your name publicly. So, you know, it came out, and right away, she has to stand there with the big check, and people ask questions. And the first thing, it's so funny. So, they said, where'd you get the tickets? She goes, well, I live in Georgia. My dad bought it and gave it to me.
Yeah, it's like a souvenir.
Right away. How much is he going to get? Let the woman have her money, for crying out loud.
Okay, but so back to Ryder's point of obligation. You know, of course, I think almost every single kid or friend or whatever, brother, sister, would give a little something as a thank you.
Sure.
But obligation, no, I don't think so. I'm sticking with no. There's absolutely no obligation. Most good people would, but you don't have to.
I think she got to kick something back to Dad.
There's something wrong with me because anytime I do buy a Mega Millions or a Powerball ticket, I think for a minute, I'm pretty sure this is the one. When I'm walking back to the car, got the tank of gas, got in there, got my bag of peanuts and a lottery ticket. I'm like, I'm pretty sure this is going to be the one. And then I immediately start to think, God, I have to keep this a secret from people. I won't want anyone to know for a while. Then I'll let it kind of leak out. I'll tell somebody a tech stock came back big. I'd never admit to having won the lottery.
Okay, when you hand off the tickets to the kids as gifts, are you also pretty sure that those are the ones, or you're giving them losers?
No. I think every time I'm like, man, this is probably gonna change everything for us. All right, way to go.
You do get a second to dream. I'm usually past it and over the dream by the time I leave the gas station parking lot, though.
I have told both kids on occasion, like very sincerely, you know, you sit down, you go, hey, let me tell you how this works. Here, let me tell you about the birds and the bees. You have these conversations over time.
Right.
And I have had the conversation with my kids where I'm like, if you ever buy a lottery ticket and it wins, I will disown you if you ever tell anyone before you talk to us and before. I'm like, cone of silence. You have to absolutely not. You don't tell your boyfriend. You don't tell your girlfriend. You don't tell your roommate. Only bad things will come your way if you let people know.
1,000%. You've got to set up shop, so to speak, and assess the situation.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, you do. 100%. I agree with you.
By the way, I'm still 0 for, I don't know, how many lottery tickets have I bought in my life? A few hundred?
You've never won anything?
Oh, no, I've won like $4 here, $8 there.
Have you ever won like $100 or $200?
Nah.
I've done that a couple times, but
really?
That's about it, though.
$100?
Yeah, like I think I don't remember exactly. I want to say I had one that was like 3 something because it was like a late teen, and so it was a lot of money to me at the time. And so it was like $350. I want to say it was a pretty good scratch.
With my former band, the Black Crowes, we were in a studio in LA making a record in 2009, and the Powerball had gotten up to 800 million. You know, it was one of those huge numbers.
Yeah.
And a kid that worked for the band, he goes, "Hey, I'm going to 7-Eleven to buy a lottery ticket. Let's all pile in and." Everyone give me $10 and we'll buy a bunch.
Yeah.
And so there's like 6 or 7 or 8 of us all in the room, and everybody handed him like a 20. And so he had like $160, so he went and bought however many, you know, whatever that was.
Sure.
It was a ton. He had a giant stack of these tickets. And the next day, we were all sitting there like, hey, did you win? He pulls them out and he's going to check. And in the immediate conversation, we determined, well, if we win, if it goes whatever it was, 7 or 8 ways, everybody was going to walk out with like, after taxes, like $15 million. I mean, it was a huge amount of money.
Yeah.
And in one of the few moments of complete transparency within the band, we all realized, we'd break up today. If you gave us all 15 mil, we'd never play another note. We'd never be in the same room again.
Sure.
That's just how that goes. What's your lottery winning protocols? Let's discuss, shall we?
Gorman in the morning. Coming right right back. 92 KQRS. Streaming from 92KQRS.com. Gorman in the Morning is back. 92 KQRS.
651-989 Rock. We're talking about lottery wins, losses, protocols. Gina texted in, I won $100,000 back in 1999.
Damn, Gina.
Yeah, that's a lot of dough in 2025. I bet that's like twice as much now.
Yeah.
$100,000 in 99 would have set me free for a good long while.
You can put together a pretty good run with that. I mean, that's not...
No kids yet, man. What are you kidding? Mm-hmm. A mortgage that made sense? Those are the good old days. The salad days, they call them. 651-989 Rock. We got Paulie on the horn right now. Paulie, good morning, sir.
Good morning, Steve. How are you?
I'm great, brother. What do you got for us?
Well, I'm one that when I give out any kind of lottery tickets, I just can't let them win it all. So every Monday, girl in the office and myself, we give each other a $5 lottery ticket, and our rule is $500 or more, we split.
Okay.
Have you scored $500 yet? Or are you still waiting?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
Have you had to split a $500 ticket with her yet, or are you guys still waiting to make that happen?
Still waiting, but I've given her several $100 winners.
Ooh.
And, yeah, but if I gave somebody $100,000 without that on the line there, then you'd find me hanging in the closet. It would just drive me crazy.
Whoa. All right.
Don't do that.
Quickly.
It's not.
Yeah, that got out of hand in a real hurry right there. Jeez. Thanks for that.
Don't do that.
Thanks for that, Paulie. I have one good friend of mine for 35 years, Karen. Her first cousin won her first cousin's wife won after taxes a Powerball 50 to 60 million in New York State.
Oh.
True story.
Lord.
It was on her lunch break with some girls from work, and this is back in the days when you would check the newspaper for the results.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And they're sitting at like a tavern, having a lunch in the middle of a work day, and some woman picked up the paper. She says, let's check our tickets. And it was this woman, Karen's cousin's wife, and two other women. And she read and another woman picked up the paper and said, okay, the numbers are 3, 7, 9, and the Powerball is 40, whatever it was. And Karen's cousin's looking at her ticket, and she just went flush.
Yeah.
And her friends were like, "What's the matter?" She was like, "I won. I won." And they just the three of them looked at the ticket, and they just got up and left, and all drove home. And she said it was like the scariest drive ever because nobody could keep they were all shaking so much.
I'm sure.
With their hands on the wheel. And they got home, called her husband. He came home from where she said, you have to come home and it's emergency. And she's like, bang. So all this to say, they did. It was a legitimate win. And again, after the tax man was done, it was $50 to $60 million. Dude had 2 years left to get his pension working for the county, and he did not quit his job.
I mean,
he's like, I'm earning that pension, baby. I don't care.
But you put a lot of years in. Like, I know it seems easy, but and that makes me think when you go, you can scan at the gas station now and just check your ticket. If it came back as a winner, I wonder how easy it would be to just unassumingly walk out.
I always think if you do that, because I've done that scan and it says $4 winner and it goes woohoo.
Yes.
I think if you put a jackpot under there, it probably goes haywire. And
so then you're running to
like
the car.
A red, like a red fire truck lights. It probably goes berserk, and then you're on your way out because someone's going to tackle you and take that ticket from you.
I know if you're a regular at whatever gas station, they get a cut.
Yeah, that's right, and then you can never go back. Gorman in the morning, Minnesota's 92 KQRS. We're loading up a Monday mixtape. Songs that kick off the summer. What comes to mind? 651-989 Rock. This is a pretty good, obvious one, I should say. Well, not obvious in a bad way, but nobody had said it yet. Centerfield by John Fogerty. I mean, nothing says summer more than a baseball song.
I need that to come in like February, though, when spring training starts.
That's a very good point.
That's when I want to get in that mood.
I get it.
Terry said Magic by the Cars. When South River Hills days is over, I feel summer is on. I heard that song on the beach every day. Nice call.
Fair enough.
Yeah,
I go back to the summer of '84. I had a job at a place called Camp Happy Days. And it was a great summer job. And local guy, Prince, the little guy, When Doves Cry. Man, that was the song of 1984 summer in the world I was living in.
Was there a Fonz or Mr. C at Camp Happy Days?
No. Very little different situation there.
Damn it.
So was it just because it was on during summer? Because this one doesn't scream summer to me.
Oh, it does. Maybe it doesn't. But my experience was that summer, we were working with kids. It was an outdoor summer camp. And just the one radio that would be on, this thing played 6 times a day, it seemed like. And so, like, I can think about the kids I was working with and the things we were doing, and this is just the soundtrack.
Sure.
That song.
Okay.
Which the first few times I heard it, I was like, yeah, I don't know. I don't get it, man. It's kind of, And then within, a week, I'm like, man, that's the baddest thing I've ever heard in my life. By the way, the bass line always gets me. Because there isn't one. No bass. In case anyone forgot that little tidbit. There it is for you. Hit us up, 651-989-ROCK. What is your summer song? What says the summer is kicking off? 651-989-ROCK.
Oh, hell yeah.
Songs with which to say the summer has kicked off.
Yes.
I've got a lot of people texting in with Baker Street by Jerry Rafferty.
That's a good call, though. That really does. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
A lot of people associate this with summer.
I don't know why, but I do.
I think it's the saxophone.
Is that it?
I think
summer
so.
sax?
Yeah.
I think of the scene from Good Will Hunting where Will and his buddies get into a fight in an outdoor basketball court.
Okay.
But it's summertime.
Is that summer? Really? School's still in session? I don't know. But I'm not going to fly in the face of conventional wisdom here. I mean, a lot of people are texting this one in.
Yeah,
there must be some pretty special summer memories. You know, that guy sued Jerry Rafferty years later. He's like, you paid me $7 for the sax, and it's the most important part of the song, isn't it? I don't think he won the case, dude. You gotta come up with those terms before you blast that thing into a microphone.
Oh, yeah.
That's just how that goes. 651-989-ROCK. Let us know what songs kick off the summer in your head. It is June the 9th. We are into the summer, and right now I'm feeling Minnesota. Paul, give me some headlines.
I'll tell you what, it's Monday. It's as good a day as any to be productive. Minnesota lawmakers, they're going to return to the Capitol today to begin what Governor Walz and legislative leaders hope will be a one-day special session to pass the rest of the next 2-year state budget. The focus will be on 14 bills, mostly spending plans for state programs and services, but also a bonding bill funding infrastructure projects and a state health coverage program for low-income people. Let's go get stuff done.
I'm just a bill.
Yes.
Yes, I'm only a bill. Come on, Schoolhouse Rockers. Let's get some work done today over there in the Capitol.
My understanding is they pre-gamed for this. Like, everything should be planned, and it should just be vote, pass, done. So
Bam.
we'll see if they can do that.
Dot I's and cross T's. Let's see if they can do that, yes. The TSA is expressing frustrations with travelers who are not providing a proper real ID to fly. The TSA recently, in fact, made a post on Facebook sharing frustrations over a Costco membership card as not a acceptable identification piece. Quote, we love hot dogs and rotisserie chickens as much as the next person, but please stop telling people their Costco card counts as a real ID because it absolutely does not.
I think if you show up to the airport and you flash a Costco ID card, your flight should be canceled immediately. No refund.
Just you. Just your, yeah, okay.
Your ticket, not your flight, your ticket, I should say. Sorry,
Real ID,
man. I got no time for people that are that stupid.
It's just unbelievable. Real ID kicked in back on May 7th, and it's very real. So just accept it and move on with life. Olivia Rodrigo surprised fans at the Governor's Ball Festival by bringing out David Byrne to perform the Talking Heads classic, Burnin' Down the House. The two singers traded verses, even did some choreographed dancing together. Here's a little clip of the performance.
Okay, so the Governor's Ball is a pretty big deal, right?
Yeah, big deal.
I feel like we should get better footage of this, maybe at some point. But yeah, this is kind of a crap cell phone, and I don't think they captured the PA all that well.
Not so great. But it's cool to see Olivia Rodrigo, who's what, 25 at most? Probably not even. And
she's 22.
And Burns well into his 70s. And she's like going, I dig this thing. It's good.
22, I nailed it. Yeah.
It's certainly not doing anything for her audience. That's just her saying, no, I dig this guy. That's cool.
Yeah,
good
absolutely.
tip of the cap to David Byrne and the Talking Heads.
And like you've said many times on the show, that they haven't done a lot of shows recently, Talking Heads, and so it's cool to see him up on stage.
When somebody says, why aren't the Talking Heads going to reunite? Everyone would love it. Well, that's because it would sound like that. You can't put a band together that hasn't toured since 1983. It ain't going to happen.
Yeah, that's fair.
Sports. The Minnesota Twins are 35-30 right now. They are not playing today. The Rangers will come to town for a 3-game series starting tomorrow at 6:40. They just dropped 2 out of 3 to the Blue Jays over the weekend, the Twins did. But yesterday got off the schneid. A couple of home runs, one from Brooks Lee, one from Christian Vasquez, and the rest was history. So the Twins had that great 13-game winning streak. Since then, they are only 9-10. So looking a little bit more like the early season Twins. But, they're swinging the bats, and the more they swing, the more they hit, the more they hit, the more they do. So, guys, let's get the bats off the shoulders. Only the mailman walks. That's what they used to say. The Dallas Wings yet again ran up against the Minnesota Lynx, and it didn't work out too well for them. I believe that's the third time we've handed them their walking papers. The Lynx are 9-0. They beat the Lynx. They beat the Wings yesterday, 81-65. In a game that was not as close as the score. And Nafisha Collier is off to a spectacular start. Good. She's just dominating on both sides of the court. This team is playing great basketball right now. Speaking of basketball, the Oklahoma City Thunder beat the Pacers last night, 123-107. Another game that was not at all in jeopardy. Midway through the second quarter, the Thunder broke away. And unlike game one, they never let the Pacers get back into it. OKC has not lost consecutive games this postseason. In fact, they've lost 3 games in the postseason, and they came back to win by 16, 32, and 43 points. Don't beat them. You just piss them off. They're like the Mongo of the NBA right now. Those are the sort of things that lead you to believe this team has championship caliber heart. When you beat them and they come back and smack the living daylights out of you repeatedly, pretty special. NHL, the Stanley Cup Finals, Edmonton and Florida tied at a game apiece. Single overtime and double overtime for these 2 games. So if you're going to watch the Stanley Cup Finals, just work in a little extra clock time. Just know it's going to go late.
Probably will. You'll see a lopsided game here and there, I think, in this series, though. But it's a classic battle. You've got the defending champions, the pedigree, versus the best player in the world, Connor McDavid. Well, and Leon Draisaitl's pretty damn good, too. Yep. So it's if you like hockey, man, you're going to get good hockey.
Absolutely true. St. Anthony, we're thinking of you this morning. Glad to have our listeners from St. Anthony with us.
Yeah.
Gorman in the morning. Coming right back. 92 KQRS. Streaming from 92KQRS.com. Gorman in the morning is back. 92 KQRS.
Gorman in the morning, Minnesota's 92 KQRS. The summer is upon us. Summer road trips, a big part of any young family's summer plans. Usually you want to load those kids up in the car, hit the road, go someplace special.
Heck yeah.
A lot of parents talking about those very things. 3.5 to 4. Those are the toughest ages. The worst age for road trip kids, apparently.
Sure.
Old enough to, know that they're getting bored and that they haven't seen anything but that same cornfield for an hour, and and not old enough to maybe read a book or get lost in something. And if you're a parent now and you are want to talk to me about how tough it is to get on the road with your kids, I would say on behalf of my own parents, shut up.
Yeah.
Because my kids are in their 20s now, but we had it much easier than my parents had it with us. I can 100%. Tell you that.
Nowadays, if you really want to, you can throw an iPad in their hands.
Of course you can.
You know what I mean? You can probably even get Wi-Fi, for crying out loud.
You can put any number of things in a kid's hand. My childhood road trips, it was all about books. We're a lot of books, man. Just doing some reading.
A lot of books, a lot of mixtapes.
I wish.
What about road trip? Y'all play road trip bingo? You get the actual bingo card that you take in the car. When you see a cow or whatever, you get to cross off your bingo card.
Just punch buggy.
No, what's punch buggy?
It's where you see a beetle and then you hit whoever is closest to you.
Yeah.
I wasn't allowed to hit my brother on the road trips. There was a very distinct line driven through the middle of the seat in the back seat by my father.
Yeah, I could hit my cousins.
We had when our kids were younger, we would do the license plate game. You just try to get every state you can.
Yep, that was one.
And then and in fact, we always had this famous road trip. There was a little town in Alabama. It's called Jack, Alabama.
Okay.
It's doesn't even have like a stoplight. And on a way down to the beach on the Gulf Coast, we drove through Jack, Alabama. And there was a car in front of us, and he was like driving a little erratically as we were slowing down, had to, get off highway speeds. And he was kind of swerving a little bit, and then he put his right turn signal on, and there was no right turn coming. And then he put his left turn signal on, and we were all looking. And as we're driving, and like Rosemary had said, like, what's this guy doing? And then the kids were like, what's happening here? So we're all paying attention to this crazy driver in front of us. And then he ends up pulling his car over on the side of the road. So he's clearly just something was going on. And as we slowly pulled around him, because I was worried he was going to like jump out in front of us again, he had an Alaska license plate. And you never see an Alaska license plate.
Gold.
And we were like, who cares if he's erratic? But it was like the high fives all over the car. Like, oh my God, Alaska. We never thought we'd find that one.
Amazing.
So to that one guy from Alaska in Jack, Alabama, man, always greatly appreciate that.
Did you guys have Willy Wooly? Or Wooly Willy, I'm sorry?
No.
The magnetic face where you could draw with like the magnetic.
Not a clue.
Mom was really good at giving us like activity books and crap like that. But we were a heavy diet of music and take a nap. Dad would be like, take a nap.
Well, we had music. We had the 8-track cassettes in the car. Yeah. And, you'd get a lot of mileage out of, just a few of those.
Yeah.
Just go through them. We did a 12-hour beach trip once with only 2 8-track tapes, Fly Like an Eagle and Abbey Road. That was it. And
12 hours?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Damn.
For us, it was Rumors and Endless Summer.
Okay.
Beach Boys, Endless Summer, Fleetwood Mac, Rumors, over and over on the 6-hour drive to Roseau, Minnesota.
I'd need a lot of Valium to get through a Beach Boys road trip.
Come on!
So they say if a 7-hour road trip is about as much as you can do with young kids, you can expect 18 sibling fights, 18 in 7 hours, 14 mini-tantrums, and at least 22 Are We There Yet? Are we there yet?
Are we there yet?
Are we there yet?
Yeah.
That checks out. We drive a half hour and I get 3 of them, so that checks out.
Yeah.
How many mini tantrums do you get if you're touring with a band in that same amount of time?
As many as you can possibly fit in there.
Were they mini?
Just nonstop.
Were they mini tantrums? That's the question.
On a good day, it would just be mini tantrums, and that's on a bus with a lot of leg room. Yeah. Just a complete loony bin happening at all times. Enjoy those road trips. Give your kids headphones. Give them something to listen to. Tell them, you can check in every 60 minutes. You ask one question. I hated it as a kid. That. But man, the Gorman family, we got road trips. We took them very seriously. My parents were like, it was military precision. We had to be on the road before the sun came up, or why even go?
Yeah.
That was it.
That
Absolutely.
sounds familiar. Yeah, that sounds familiar.
Very true. Biggest trouble I ever got in on a 5 a.m. pulling out. My dad, I'm in the back seat. He's like, all right, how about some of that coffee, son? So he has the thermos of coffee pre-made.
Of course.
And there was a thing of styrofoam cups. And he said, get me one of those plastic cups with coffee. And I didn't know styrofoam was plastic. A plastic cup to me was like a plastic cup.
Absolutely.
It wasn't styrofoam. And so I moved those styrofoam cups out of the way 6 times, digging through the cooler, digging through the bag with the snacks. And after about 5 minutes, he goes, where? And I said, Dad, there's no plastic cups. All they have is styrofoam. And he was like, that is plastic. And he was so mad. And I'm like, no one knows that.
No.
What are you holding me to these standards of knowing about the world of plastics for? What is this, The Graduate?
I was worried. I thought you were going to say you put the coffee in a plastic cup.
No. I would have if he hadn't corrected me. 2 orders of business today. The Monday Morning Mixtape. What songs kick off summer to you? And then we were talking a lot about family road trips. I remember a lot of Blondie songs being in the car on the road trips back in the day.
Okay.
Oh, really?
Yeah. By the time Call Me came out, they were already well established. But that first album, Heart of Glass, One Way or Another, Dreamin', all those, I can absolutely just road trip. You'd be, scouring up and down the dial waiting for a song you liked. And then you'd find one. It'd be like, Blondie'd be rocking. And you'd go about halfway through the song. And then it would start to get the old radio would start to fade out.
That was the worst
ever. Man. The ultimate long summer drive road trip, summer of 76, went down. I had a brother who lived on the beach in South Carolina, and it was a really long drive from where we lived. And the Paul McCartney song Silly Love Songs had just come out. And man, that damn thing was huge. And we probably heard it on every single station we picked up on the drive. And you'd hear a station, it would come in, and then it would crap out, and then you got to dial another one, another one, dial. And throughout that whole trip, that song was just relentlessly on. And as a Beatles fanatic, and I was also into Paul McCartney and Wings, I was like, by the time we got to the beach, I was like, I don't ever need to hear that song again.
You just mentioning that title has me thinking I don't ever need to hear that song again.
That's good stuff. 651-989-ROCK. Tracy texted, I used to drive 24 hours from McAllen, Texas to the Twin Cities every summer from the time my son was born until he was 17.
Good Lord.
One year he made me play the Wiggles from McAllen all the way until Iowa. I couldn't take it anymore. I told him that the CD broke and that Uncle Richard would fix it when we got to Minnesota. He never did the "Are we there yet?" He would always say, "What state are we in?" On day 2. Day 1, it was all Texas.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah.
I tell you what, from McAllen to Iowa, her Mother's Day gifts since then have better been pretty damn good.
Well, the drive was to here. They just stopped in Iowa. But, man, McAllen all the way here.
But she's saying it was through Iowa. That's all I was saying. But the Mother's Day gifts for her better have been pretty damn good after all that.
651-989-ROCK. Let us know you combine it. The long road trips with the kids, and was there music to keep you satisfied? The Wiggles there were some Wiggles in the Gorman car 20 years ago.
No, thank you.
Oh, I had fruit salad going all day long, man. Fruit salad, yummy, yummy.
For me, it was Baby Shark. Baby Shark.
No. Happy not to know anything about that. Yeah, man. Cold spaghetti.
It rivals the Wiggles, man.
Oh, I'm sure it does. Yeah. But at least the Wiggles were Australian and had those great accents. And then, like the Hooters, they were color coordinated.
They were.
651-989-ROCK. Road trip stories coming in hot and heavy. 651-989-ROCK. Our buddy Tubby said we would literally be pulling out of the driveway. 5 a.m., 2 siblings, mom asleep in the back of the station wagon. Dad would back out to the road and say immediately, "Can you hand me one of those ham sandwiches?" Yeah, that's it. The second the car's moving, you got to start eating and drinking.
Oh, yeah.
That's exactly how that would go. Jim Bob wrote in, when I was younger, we took a family trip camping to Colorado. 6 kids and mom and dad driving to the top of Pikes Peak.
Oh, my God.
I thought my dad was going to snap. Very narrow roads and 6 kids from 5 to 15 that could not get along with each other.
My first full-time gig in radio was in Colorado, and those roads up into the mountains are not for the faint of heart. I love driving. I feel completely in control, but my God. Going descending? Ooh.
We didn't fight in the car. I mean, there'd be a little blow-up, but there was never any, real honest-to-God arguing. We just get killed. My mom, not even my dad. It would just be over. Yeah. But we always knew every couple hours we're going to hit a rest area, and then we could blow off some steam. You'd be like, okay, we're going to go over here with the Frisbee, and you'd run out of the car to go throw a punch. That's what was really happening. Had to get away from the parents, get away from the car, and then we could fight all we wanted.
That's like, being in prison. You can go out back where the guards can't see you.
That's exactly what that was. Yeah, just Pennsylvania Turnpike or the Driftwood exit. Come on, man, let's get after it.
All right.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, we're laying it in there. 651-989-ROCK. Today's last word.
Lay it on me.
All right. In 1787, September of 87, a farewell party was held for George Washington by his first troop, Philadelphia City Cavalry. He was leaving the Constitutional Convention to go back to Virginia, and they wanted to see him off, so they had a farewell party.
All right.
Okay, this is all factual. During the party, attendees consumed 60 bottles of claret, a red wine, 54 bottles of Madeira, a Portuguese wine, 22 bottles of porter, 8 bottles of whiskey, 8 bottles of hard cider, and 7 bowls of alcoholic punch. There were only 55 attendees.
No. I was going to say, were there 5,000 people there, or what was happening?
2 bottles of wine, several shots, a few cups of punch and beer for every guest is what that adds up to.
Invite me to that party.
So just remember, when you are looking at the Constitution and you're thinking about how great this place is, just a bunch of drunks figured out how to run this country.
Oh, boy.
Leave it to the drunks, would you? Hey, tomorrow on this show, Gorman in the Morning, we're going to play WTF, Wisconsin, Texas, Florida. We're going to be giving away tickets for the KQ Karaoke Cruise.
Nice.
Very nice. Gunner is coming up next with your shot to see the Wallflowers Thursday at the Ledge, and he will be commercial-free for lunch, so don't do anything but keep it on Minnesota's 92 KQRS.
Gorman in the Morning is also Gorman on the go. Get the 92 KQRS app and stream live or catch the Gorman in the Morning podcast anytime. 92 KQRS.